Hey, my name's Samuel from Speak Straight, and this is part 2 of How We Do It with Hamilton of Crypto. If you haven't already seen part 1, I'm going to link it somewhere here. Okay, so personally, I really love the Web3 space, and I know you've been a big fan of crypto. You've been in crypto for a while now, best part of like 4, 5, 6 years or something like that. A really, really early kind of entry. Me, I'm super community focused, love technology, love the aspects behind it. But what really made you dive into this industry? What when you saw crypto, did you think, okay, well, this is the next best thing?
So my story, when I first got into crypto, well, when I first heard about crypto, it was actually I was commentating for an esports organization called Mocket, right? And we were kind of running the Rocket League space at the time in terms of the commentating, the esports, running events. I was doing live streams, that kind of stuff. And the company actually got bought by a very, very OG Bitcoin miner. I won't say his name because I don't know if he wants to be heard of, but he bought the company, and I just went into a Discord voice chat randomly. I was like, "Hey, how are you? Who are you?" And he was like, "Yeah, I own this company." I was like, "Oh, cool! I work for this company." And then from that moment, I ended up working in China with him as the game was expanding to China, and helping him run the whole kind of thing there. And from China, I essentially got into trading and introduced to trading from that point. And just knowing some of these OG guys in the space, OG miners, people that would mine with a graphics card from like 2012 in their basement or whatever, right? And yeah, I did some freelance work, social media work for those guys, learning to trade at the same time. And from that point, yeah, I mean, just being infatuated with crypto as a whole, and learning exactly what it was, and how the blockchain works and how it really benefits finance as a whole, just got the sparks flying. Because once you go down that rabbit hole and you're like, oh, this could really affect finance for the like positive side, right? And then you start thinking about what could it do for gaming, and what could it do for social media, what could it do for all of these other industries, real estate as well, right? So yeah, it's something that from that point it's just been a tree that's grown for me, and it's been something that I really just want to dabble in everything, and focus on all of the niches that it does kind of go with. And as a trader as well, obviously there's going to be trends and coins that I need to look at and buy and trade as it happens. So it's quite a fortunate position for me to be in this, because I know the trading side, I know the chart side. So as a trend comes around, I can trade the chart as it goes up and know what everyone's looking at, what everyone's buying, and what's actually growing and scaling in the space. And that leads me to kind of research what's going on in the space as well, and have a good grip on that as well. So yeah, I think for me, I've been quite fortunate to meet the right people, but it's obviously being a yes man, like kind of saying yes to everything, and meeting people that can teach me stuff as well, and being open to learning new things, rather than a lot of these old folks that may hear about crypto but they just dismiss it as like, oh, it's not going to happen, much like people did with the internet, right? So yeah, being young, being open to that, and kind of learning as I go has been fantastic. And yeah, I love crypto. I hope it completely succeeds and takes over everything.
Fantastic. So would you say that you're kind of the success that you've reached so far, you're a young guy, you're only a little bit older than I am, to both like mid 20s. Would you say that the success that you've achieved in such a relatively short period of time, this last kind of 10 years space, would you say that your success from that comes from your open-mindedness and your kind of desire, need, or urge to just try new things and really just step out into this kind of unknown place?
Yeah. Well, ever since I was a kid, came from a pretty poor family. My brother and I have, obviously Chester. That's how
Hmm.
I met you, right,
Yeah.
through him. And yeah, we've always been just cold hard entrepreneurs. We've always been guys that we want to make money. How are we going to get the billion? How are we going to get the million, right? How are we going to get the 100K to get the million? And then what are the steps that we need to apply to kind of go through all of these stepping stones, right? So for me, yeah, I've always been interested in making money, and stumbling into crypto is something that is literally surrounded by money. And it's like essentially, if I were to describe crypto as anything, besides obviously the blockchain tech side of it, it is a fundraising marvel, right? If you have an idea, you can go out there, make a coin, or you can make a project, frame it in crypto, get the funding you need, and make something that's brilliant. And actually, it's a path to catch up a lot of these monopolized industries. So yeah, I think it's fantastic. And I forgot the question, but hopefully I answered it.
It was an awesome answer. So I
Oh,
was
great.
asking, do you feel that your success comes from your like open-mindedness and your kind of urge to take on opportunities?
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I guess summarizing, concluding on that, for me it would be I've always tried to say yes to every opportunity that's kind of offered to me. And what that's kind of given me is like obviously I'm always going to be at the bottom of each of these kind of pyramids of of hierarchy of each company or each project, right? When I do say yes to this stuff, but what that gives me is the opportunity to learn, right? So yeah, a lot of these times when I was starting out, I was earning as low as $300 a month, right? I was sleeping on someone's couch, earning $300 a month, just trying to survive and learn from all of these brilliant entrepreneurs that were kind of around me. And yeah, I was almost like the coffee bitch or the whatever, like the coffee boy. But yeah. It kind of led me to study these people like in real life IRL, right? So I could see these people conversating and learn from them in silence, and then kind of pitch my ideas, and they'd be like, no, that's terrible, Hammy, or yes, that's a brilliant idea, and kind of correct my ways and learn and grow in the right direction because of that. So yeah, I would say saying yes to everything is absolutely what you need to do. You don't need to be asking people for thousands of dollars, especially when we were a bit younger, right? It's if you're under 30, you should literally just be learning from everything, right? And it only takes a few years to learn an industry, and then after that you can start a business, you can fail at that business, you can start another business, and then next thing you know, you're in a very profitable scenario where you've gained all of this knowledge. You're a CMO or whatever, right? I've gone the CMO route, but you could be a CEO, you could be anything, right? It's something that the more you accumulate knowledge, the more successful you will be over the next few years for sure. And anyone that's watching this, like that's the takeaway from everything in my life, I would say.
Amazing. So spending this time with these like deep entrepreneurs, these born and bred as you and Chester are. I remember meeting you guys when I was younger. I was like, wow, this is like mind blowing. I've never met anyone that's like so like on the same line, just want to hustle and like make something, build something, develop a community. Because that's what I believe anyway. But I really, really believe is that Web3 is focused around like the community side of it. You're not going to have any project survive or achieve any kind of goal if there's not the community around it to support it. So my next question from what you said would be, what are some of the best lessons that you would have learned from those entrepreneurs that you were around?
Um, quite quite a lot of lessons, I would say. But if we're honing in and scoping in on community and kind of relating it to that, some of my social media jobs were kind of not just trying to grow communities and trying to figure out how to market for free, essentially, but also sustaining communities. This is what a lot of people don't get, and a lot of even hundreds of $1 million worth companies in the space aren't getting this, where you can grow a company in a bull market, yes, but sustaining grow a community in a bull market, but sustaining that community throughout a bear market is one of the most difficult challenges that these guys will face, because they don't know how to do it. It's they get funneled in all these people, and they're like, yeah, we're building this, cool, but how do you keep that community there? And one of the things I've learned over my time, over the past few years, just in various different projects, is essentially events and making sure they feel included is so important. Showing them that you're a human as well, particularly in the crypto space, where a lot of people don't even show their face throughout a year, multiple year worth project, right? So yeah, showing that you're human, showing that you have emotion, empathy, you understand what they're going through. Everyone's losing money in a bear market, right? They need to understand that, but they also need to understand that you're working on something that's going to change the world, essentially, right? And if they want to be a part of that, they can stick around, and there'll be rewards, there'll be monetary gain, there'll be community kind of tribal aspects to that as well, where you make friends in that community. So yeah, hosting events online is massive, and a lot of these corporate I guess 35 plus year olds don't really understand that a lot of this community kind of Discord gaming, all of this stuff is embedded into the younger people's minds, and this is how we communicate, right? Us and below, essentially, is just chilling out in a Discord, is just hanging out and getting that bond, and getting that I guess, what's the word, getting that loyalty to your community, right? Getting that loyalty to your community is so important, and if you can get that, then your project will survive. endless bear markets because you've essentially created a tribe rather than just a business where you're trying to exploit people, right? So yeah, that would be something that I would say is just one of the most crucial parts of any company and running any community, really.
No, I completely agree with 100% everything that you just said. Community is the bread and butter. I know we have spent and continue to spend a lot of time on Discord, chatting, hustling through, and it really does make you feel like something bigger. Even though there's only a few of us that sit down in these groups, it really does make you feel like you're part of something that's so much greater. So when you do get, some of the communities that I work with are like 100,000 people strong, is that you really do have to add that human aspect. So you mentioned about online events, these kind of events. Are you talking about like live streams on Twitter or on TikTok, or having a presence on YouTube? What kind of events do you think would work best in this space?
I tend to look at who's doing the best in this space, and a lot of the time I'm looking at exchanges. So what these guys will do, they'll have short-term events, which will be, I don't know, interviews or podcast or just like hanging out, doing just shooting it, whatever, like just hanging out and people in the chat, like a Twitch stream or something, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got more progressional events, which would be over like a month or two, right? Where less so a campaign, but more again sustaining your community, saying, hey, do you guys want to come chill? Maybe do a little gaming tournament. Maybe do I know this really it's probably 500 strong community that was kind of formed in the bull market, and they still do weekly what's called marbles. I don't know if you know this thing, but on Twitch, but everyone picks their own marble and it's like equal chance to win, and then whoever wins at the end gets like a prize, right?
Yep.
So yeah, these guys have been doing this every week, and these are random crypto dudes that had never met before, and they're bonding and they're finding that community loyalty just from hanging out every week. So there's the long term, which is progressional competitions, and the comparison to exchanges would be their kind of the WSOT, right? The World Series of Trading with Bybit, the KCGI, I believe, is BitGet. So yeah, anything that can bring the community together to compete, and the bigger the community, you were talking about 100,000 strong community, right? You're obviously going to have separate tribes, sub communities of those communities, right? So having them compete with each other in a fun way, where they could win potential small rewards, it can literally be $100. Do you know what I mean? Where they take away more fun from it than worth. And the problem with crypto at the moment is everyone just wants money. So if you can offer them something where they can go, wow, okay, I actually had a very good human experience from that and it was fun, then yeah, they're going to be way more loyal to you than, I don't know, an airdrop for a coin that hyperinflates over a month because everyone's selling, right? So yeah, that's the way I would go about it. And I've seen a few projects do this with massive success, particularly in GameFi.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you there as well. And it kind of ties back into the event side of things, and really building a strong community, having that sense of the humanity there, like you said, that having that human kind of face, which I think a lot of the kind of larger corporations, even like outside of the kind of tech space, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, some of these biggest corporations in the world, they, yes, have a following and have supporters. And I'm sure that there's even people that would die for these companies, just the way that some people work. But with this new shift that's coming with Web3, because we are in the start of it, I still had like with when the internet first came around, oh no, it's just a phase. You get the newspaper articles come up every now and again. Oh, it's just a phase. Is everyone
Yeah.
jumping off it? It's going to disappear. And then, you get Yahoo collapse and Google like completely explode out of the status quo. But what the major difference is from my perspective is that whole community driven, the opportunity. You don't need to go through a broker to get involved in a project that you believe in, and you don't have to wait every quarter to get some kind of return, be it a dividend, or you haven't got to wait to go to an in-person event. With everything how it's growing, and like haptics is they're going to start coming into play as well once they're much more mainstream. Then in the real gamification of just the internet in general, I think is like a major thing for it. And it's not just going to be the like playing games online that is going to be impacted. When we say gamification, a lot of people might think, oh, we're talking about solely gaming. No, we're not. We're literally talking about anything that you can have a similar kind of experience from gaming. So being online, interacting with other things
Competing,
online.
right? Yeah. Competing, right? That's
Yeah.
essentially it, right?
Yeah.
Just in a fun
Competing,
way, casually competing, I guess.
casually competing. I like it. I like it.
Just concluding on that, because obviously I come from esports, and esports, the foundations of esports and where esports came from is actually fairly similar to crypto when you think about it, right? So what happened with gaming? It was very small. People were playing, I don't know, Pac-Man, and they were playing Street Fighter, and then you got these little gaming tournaments that kind of formed, right, for Street Fighter and Smash Bros and all this stuff, right? And then from that, you had the rise of Call of Duty, all of this stuff, and from that you had the rise of clans, right? Clans was probably the most pivotal point in gaming for the whole industry, because that created things like phase, that created was it optic optic, it might be optic, yeah.
Yeah.
So phase and optic rivalry with montages, and then they started playing each other for prizes, like sometimes as much as 20,000, and in 2000 and whatever, 10, 12, whatever, whenever it was, that was crazy money for like a 12-year-old kid,
Yeah.
right? So
And now you've got
kind
Fortnite paying out $6 million
Yeah.
to 15, 16-year-olds. So
Yeah.
what's your favorite game? Like, did you have a game when you were younger? Did you have a favorite game? Were you a Call of Duty player?
I was never really totally good at Call of Duty. I was kind of the average player, middle of the leaderboard. A lot of my
Yeah.
friends though, they would just dominate. They would just dominate everything, and I'd always be the guy like dragging behind, trying to keep up with them. But yeah, I would say probably Halo 3.
Yeah.
Halo 3 was probably one of the best games, because that was, again, hugely incorporating clans, and you could have all these clan rules and little tournaments with each other, and all custom games, and yeah, you could change the rules, make your own maps. This was the first like real creative outburst in the gaming industry. I think it was called Forge mode. If I look back, 10 years ago now. I don't know, way longer than that probably. But yeah, it's crazy how that kind of changed the gaming industry. And yeah, that would definitely be my top game of when I was a kid anyway. Coming into uni and stuff, it had to be Rocket League. I mean, that kind of forged me in a sense.
Yeah, Rocket. I was never very good at Rocket League. I'm a very much a story-driven game player. I play
Okay.
the old school like King Kong games. I'm completely obsessed with the
Yeah.
old King Kong game. The like movie games, playing Assassin's Creed at the moment. Love Assassin's Creed. Always
Yeah.
have from the first all the way through to where we are now. Never not enjoyed one. I know we are running short on time, and I know you are busy. So just a couple more bits before we shoot off. So what do you reckon would be the best wallet for people to hold their crypto in, be it hard or soft? What would be the creme de la creme of like DeFi experiences for in regards to wallets?
A lot of people would say MetaMask, but I heard they disabled some random people's wallets for some reason, because something, and that just takes away the whole point of wallets for me. I use Trust Wallet personally.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important to obviously think about security. If you are just holding crypto and there's a good exchange, and you don't know anything about ledgers or anything like that, I would typically just say put it on an exchange, or put it on like your 3 top most trusted exchanges. Therefore, if one of them get hacked, then your funds are kind of diversified in that sense. But a lot of these funds now have insurance, like hack funds or whatever, like in the billions. So yeah, your money's safe in an exchange, but make sure you have a 2FA offline device in which it's on a timer, so only you can see the code, and then you type that code into the exchange. You're going to be the only one to reach that exchange. I learned that the hard way. I literally literally got hacked like for all my money when I was coming up. So yeah, do that.
Yeah, 100%. Take care of your money. 2-factor authenticate. We literally got like a couple of minutes left. What's the best platform to use? Because I know Binance is kind of in the firing line at the moment. I think you mentioned, is it Bitfex is the one you mentioned?
I will typically use Bybit,
Bybit.
KuCoin. I stay away from Binance, and I'm looking into BitGet right now. They look pretty good. So I'll probably do some trading on BitGet as well. They got copy trading as well, which is a whole other conversation. But yeah, those would be my top 3 at the moment.
Okay. So if someone wanted to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
Bitcoinbeats.net. That's my main website, or just find my email via YouTube, or just leave a comment on one of my videos. It's all good. Yeah, that's probably it.
Amazing. That was Hamilton of Crypto. A massive thank you to my dear friend Hamilton of Crypto. Absolute G. Thank you for being on my show. As he said, if you want to get in touch with him, jump on the bitcoinbeats.net, bitcoinbeats.net. You'll be able to find all the information about how to get in contact with him there, including his Twitter, YouTube, and your course is available now, isn't it? Sorry, I can't believe that just mentioned this now. I'd also definitely check out Decentrahype, which is where you're going to find all of the new crypto news. I love it. They do a weekly live trading show where they spin a wheel and they have to trade within these parameters. It is exciting. It's fun to watch. I really enjoy it. And that was it for part 2 of how we do it with Hamilton of Crypto. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and let me know if you want to see more videos like this or more Hamilton of Crypto, or tag anyone else that you want to see me speak to about the Web3 space. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. Speak straight.